All right, we're back. Episode 3, Boots and Scarves. Bytown boys and girls. How's everybody doing?
Good.
Peachy.
Good.
Right on. So we got, of course, Stuart all the way in Glasgow. Salute to the man. Michael, my favorite YouTuber in town. Go check out his channel. Michael McCall, MCCALL. My roommate, Steph. And, of course, El Presidente, Jessica.
Hi.
On deck. All right, so we have today's episode is about road trips, particularly, obviously, for football. Got 11 questions lined up. Thank you, Stefan, Jessica, and Michael for submitting those. So on with the show. This is it. I'll get Steph to start this one, since it came from him.
Okay.
So, which road trip in the MLS, Major League shit, would you love to be a part of? Which road trip in the MLS would you love to be a part of, Stefan?
Either away Seattle or away Portland to Seattle and Portland. I would love to be in that one. Just, it's hatred in there. It's not loves and hugs and kisses. It's just, I hate you since the 70s. So, plus
I have to agree.
Cup pisses off Don Garber.
Cascadia Cup is wild. Let's go, Stuart. What would be your favorite road trip in MLS?
Well, I've done the one, and it's going to come later in my answers. I've done one, and it's my favorite one, and I think it's the best road trip. But I'm going to go with Stefan here for the one I haven't done, but that I would like to be a part of, and that would definitely be Seattle-Portland. I'd like to be one of those sets of supporters visiting the other city. I think it would just be a great time, be a lot of fun. There's a lot of history there, two good sides. I think that would probably be my favorite outside of the one that I've already done.
Well, Jess?
I would have to go with TFC in Montreal. That's always I always hear the crazy stories from either Stuart or Stefan of stuff that have happened, whether it's TFC fans going to Montreal or vice versa. So TFC in Montreal.
I have to say that one is always hype for sure. And Michael?
With me, I'd have to either go with the LA Derby or the New York one. I don't know much about the MLS rivalries. Sorry?
El Trafico or El Plastico.
Exactly. I don't know much about the MLS derbies, but those two I do know the hatred between the two fans. I've watched documentaries on both of the derbies there, so I'd love to be part of probably the LA one first, but New York's closer, so I wouldn't mind doing that.
Nice. All right. Question 2, Michael, since you ended the last one, I'll get you to start. Which road trip that you regret not being a part of?
I don't know if you
an opportunity for a road trip, but you weren't able to make it.
I don't know if you could call it a road trip, but it'd be the Ottawa Fury against Vancouver Whitecaps and the Voyager Cup there when we went to Vancouver. We won at home, brought so much excitement, and I remember watching that game from home while they were playing in Vancouver, and I wanted to be there so bad, and we came close. We had so many chances. I think it was Steele that hit the crossbar at one point. So, I mean, it was such an exciting game to watch on TV. It would have been great to be there, but it would definitely be that one.
I was listening to that on the radio, order picking toilet paper.
Jess, what about yourself?
Ottawa Fury in the final versus New York Cosmos. That one, that was my first year. So I didn't know all of you very well, and I believe I had to work. So I regret not taking the time off work to go with you guys and be on the bus. I've heard stories. It would have been nice to have been there with you guys.
No, that one I have to include on my list because it fell on the day of my birthday, or at least my birthday weekend. And people were left, right, and center. They were offering me rides, tickets, name it, like it was mine, right? Just say the word and it's yours. but I was very adamant about the fact that, you know, my birthday comes around only once a year like everyone else, and the only thing I want to do is just be with my family and enjoy dinner, which is exactly what I did. I mean, even just before the game, there was the viewing party at the Heart and Crown over on Preston Street, and someone had tweeted me a picture of the one empty seat in the pub, and he says, "Oh, this could be yours," and I'm like, "Nah, that's really kind of you, but you know, respectfully decline." Anyway, Stuart.
So road trip is a bit subjective. I seen Canada play in Toronto is technically a road trip, even though it's a home match. There are quite a few men's national team games that I've missed just because of work and expenses, and I've missed quite a few that you guys have gone to. But another one that I kind of miss, and it's specifically for the road aspect of it, is the New York final. I was there. I went with Eric and Dan. We drove down by ourselves because we had to be there a night early. We were doing work with the club, but I missed the entire supporter bus down. I missed the entire supporter section during the game. And then the longer probably bus ride back home after the loss. But that's something that I wish I was a part of that I wasn't, would be that the road trip from Ottawa down to New York with everyone.
Oh, Steph?
It'd be when the Imbriati set fire to Saputo Stadium. Stuart and Anton were at that one. I didn't feel like it, but I regret not going because I watched on TV and you guys are having a fucking blast. Like, that's a trip I missed out on.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I went to the bar drinking with my dad. We were playing Spot X person. You take a drink. But, yeah, we don't need a reason to drink.
Right. All right. Now we're into Jessica's questions. So, Jessica,
Yes.
how much sleep would you expect on a road trip? Can you please elaborate on that one?
Okay.
Or explain yourself.
I guess if we're staying at a hotel or with Jen, depending on what goes on that night, if there's a lot of drinking, I normally drive, so in the car I don't get any sleep. Everybody else will sleep in the car and leave me to just drive. So I guess on a good day, at least 4 hours. At least 4 hours of sleep. And that's
Four is your answer?
Sorry?
Said 4 is your answer?
Yes.
Cool. And sorry, you were going to say?
I was just going to say 4 hours if I'm at Jen's or a hotel because I will be driving the next day. So I don't get to sleep in the car at all.
I see. All right. Steph.
As a passenger, you sleep when you're dead. Good. Like most road trips, you tend to pass out at the end. As my cousin Roxanne's husband calls it, time travel. You close your eyes and you wake up in a new spot, and it's a couple hours later. But it depends on your scenario. Like, I remember the New York trip. I didn't get much sleep just because I was hyped up to go on it. And I think most people on our bus only got maybe 2-3 hours worth of sleep. And then Doug popped open his ball of Glenfiddich, and here we go. There's no sleep to be had going down to New York. Well, that's not true. Michael and Brandon. No, it's your brother who fell asleep, and I took a picture of you.
No, it was me.
You fell asleep with your brother. He's like,
I saw the picture a couple days ago, and I was out. It didn't last long though. I mean, I had Simon in front of me, and he cracked over the beer, and I was awake pretty much then.
That was a fun road trip in general. Coming back, we watched Boondock Saints.
That's where I was stuck on the way back, really.
Doug enjoyed it.
So, Michael, how many hours of sleep?
You're not getting any, really. It depends on how you do it. I mean, when we travel, we usually go to when the game's in Toronto, anyways. Anton has that amazing wife of his who's able to house us up. But other than that, if we're doing a hotel, it really depends how you're driving. But really, you're not getting any. Road trips are surprisingly exhausting. You underestimate it, and you will underestimate it every single time you go. Hey, you're not getting much sleep. You may sleep on the way back, but yeah, they're tiring. You'll underestimate it for sure.
And Stuart.
0 hours of sleep. I'm notorious for being the last one to fall asleep. I'll keep everyone up awake.
Those damn sleeping bags, bud.
Yeah, so most of the road trips I've done with the Bytown boys have been to Toronto, whether it's for the 2 Voyageurs Cup matches that we played away in Toronto. I went to both of those, as well as the Canadian men's national games that we've gone to, the men's national game team. So both of those situations, I was working a job where I start work at 6 in the morning and I finish at about 2 or 3 in the afternoon. So we would leave when I finish work at 2. We'd go straight to Toronto for a game at 7. You know, you're leaving the stadium, you're back in your car maybe 10 or 11. You're back home by 4 or 5 in the morning with a pit stop, and then I'm back at work again at 6. So I did that several times on 0 sleep. Promised my bosses that I'd be in the next morning fully energized, ready to go. Don't worry about it. And I would sleep my way through the shift.
All right. Here, Stuart, I'll get you to kick this one off, okay? So out of all the road trips, which one stands out the most? So like, you know, your favorite or your favorite memory?
So I'm going to go with actually the one that Michael mentioned earlier that he wishes he was at. I was there. I was the only fan who went from Ottawa to Vancouver for that second leg game.
Wait,
and it was unbelievable.
Did you not go with Eric?
So I went with Eric, but he was already living in Vancouver at the time.
Oh, he had already moved. Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was working for
so he was
Canada.
Yeah, he was working for Snowboard Canada doing social media. I met him through Fury doing social media. He got the job out west. So he was one of the reasons I was able to get that trip possible. Was I flew out there the day of the game, quickly went to his flat, dropped off my stuff. We went to the game, watched the game, back to his house, and I caught a flight back the next morning. I think I was in Vancouver for maybe like 16, 17 hours. But it was so much fun, and we were in it like right to the end of the game because all we needed was just an away goal to make something of it. And that was it was something else to be able to fly all the way across the country for that, especially for the Voyageurs Cup match. I love the Voyageurs Cup. So that's probably the one that stands out the most for me, the favorite. And I got this top specifically for that because I wanted an away top for an away trip, a road trip. So thank you, Ottawa Fury. Michael Weiss gave me that free.
Michael?
Sorry. With me, it had to be my first one. Women's World Cup against Canada versus the Netherlands in Montreal. It was my first world trip. It was my first one really getting to know you guys. The night before we left, I stayed over at Anton's and Steph's house. We got up early in the morning to make the trip down to Montreal. If it wasn't for this trip, I don't know if I'd be doing this podcast right now, honestly. That trip made me do more trips with you guys, made me closer with you guys. Later on, I did a road trip with Stu where it was all of us in the car, got closer with him. In the future, same with Jess here. Road trips have really made us all together. And if it wasn't for the first one in Montreal, which we didn't win, we didn't lose. It was a 1-1 draw. It was close. We did top the group, though. It was a great experience. Yeah, I have to say that one because if it wasn't for that one, this podcast may not even be.
Oh, and we did get in trouble with CBC that game.
Yes, we did.
Which
a lot of takeaways from that.
With us.
Let's go, Steph.
Because of how many we've done, I'm not going to lie to you, it's the most recent one, the men's game. Because it was the first game where I've gone for a Canada game going, we're not going to win this, but we're going to fight. And then, okay, possibility of a draw. Okay, here we go. Holy shit, we could win. We're going to win this. That huge hype buildup. I've never been at a Canada game or any away game that there's that buildup of potential. That game had that what every away fan would dream, even though we're playing at home. But that's not the point. It's just the excitement that was had, and just everybody just going, "Fuck it, we're doing this." A bad carpool karaoke of Bohemian Rhapsody.
Fuck, I just see that from the rearview mirror, man.
Sit down the next day, Michael. Like, seriously.
Yeah, I don't remember much of that night.
You're
We beat fucking America.
so
Okay?
on.
We beat them for the first time in, 32 years? I was partying.
No one cared. It was, we won the game, get the booze out. I think
Exactly.
Shula just made their month on one night.
It's funny because after that game, in that game, I was thinking, I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to drink that much. The only way I'm going all out after this game is if we win. And we freaking won. So when we got to the bar, I was like, now drinks, let's go.
All right, Jess?
I've only gone on 2 road trips with you guys. The last one was 2 years ago, and we went to Hamilton, and we did Wonderland the day before the soccer game. We had gone for my 30th birthday, and Stefan, being the asshole he can be, was making fun of my height. By making me stand up to the height check. And to see if I was tall enough to go on the Leviathan and Behemoth. Yeah, that one stands out pretty. We ended up losing. It was Canada versus Germany, and we did end up losing it, but I was with great company, and it was still a lot of fun.
All right. So I know the next question is Michael's, and asking Michael, he had already just mentioned it, but it's for everyone. So what was your first road trip?
My first one, it was the Montreal one. It was a great one. Again, if it wasn't for that trip, this podcast may not be. I'm going to be as close to you guys. Anton going to have his wife.
Facts.
It was a great road trip. And again, it's what's made us do so much more. I mean, I'm sure you guys will have done it, but you guys welcomed me into your home, took me on the road. Anton forgot the tickets, but we still made it into the north.
There's a lot that chronologically happened that made it a comedy of errors, and the fact that in the end it became this super beautiful memory for all of us for many reasons, but collectively, like you said, the cohesion is just you can't put it in words, right?
In that road trip, going to where we were parking the car, we're going down an alley. All you hear from Michael in the back is, what are we in, GTA 4 or 5? I think there should be a hooker that we got to run over or something. I'm back in the front seat howling with that car.
And the roads were so bashed up, too. Oh, that was
Construction Central. It's great.
So, Steph, your first road trip?
Well, it was you and I when Impact joined the league, the MLS. You went to the car, we went to the Big O. We parked on the furthest, more or less, metro stop. Took 2 metros to the stadium. I decided I wasn't going to bring my debit card to buy beer. I brought money, lost money. We went back. Found out Anton left the windows down of the car and the lights on. And that was, what was it? 2-1 was the final? Or was it?
Something like that.
Yeah, at the Big O, yeah.
Was that not their first game they played at Big O together?
Yeah, that was the very first one. That was their inaugural MLS.
There was historical implication there.
Yeah.
All right. Stuart.
Same answer as Stefan, actually. And I didn't go with you guys. I went with my friend Aaron Kumar. And basically, I grew up in Toronto, or just outside Toronto. So I was big into TFC at the time. Ottawa didn't have a pro club, so it was I was looking for a game to go to, and my buddy was like, "Hey, they're playing in Montreal." And I said, "Let's get tickets." I think it was an April match. Like, it was an early in the year. Actually, I think it just came up on my memories on Facebook not long ago. And yeah, we went to the match. We couldn't get a ticket with the Toronto FC supporter section, but we got one literally like across the aisle from them. So we just hopped into the section. It was a great time. I got some really cool photos where the capo had the young boy. He must have been, I don't know, 5 or 6. He's just a wee little thing, and he was up with his megaphone and he was leading the chants. And it was just one of those moments where you really felt like you were part of an away support, because it was in the, like we said, it was in the Big O, and the stadium was sparsely filled, but our section was just packed right in.
Yeah.
And it was just full 90 minutes of a lot of fun. So that was my first ever road trip.
Jess.
My first road trip was Canada versus Jamaica. The CNE was going on at the time. That was a very long day. We had gone to Jen's place to stay, and then gone to the game. That trip, I got to know Stuart a little bit better. He didn't come down with us, but he came back to Ottawa with us, and I had driven him. So it was the first time I had spent hours with Stuart and having conversations. And so, yeah, that was my first road trip.
Stuart's freestyling. Who doesn't remember that road trip? The amount of chants he came up with. I was nice and quiet in the car, and what the fuck?
That wasn't. Was that no? It was a different trip with the funny bear that makes the noise.
Yeah.
Oh, it was that trip.
That was the same trip, but this is part 2. The funny bear noise one was part 1 in Jen's car, where we had the cigarillos.
Yeah, and Stu's like, this sounds like Eric. All right. Okay. All right, Michael. What was the furthest you've ever traveled?
Does going
for
to
a road
England
trip
count? I said, does going to England count to see Solon play?
Yes.
Well, so if you count England, I saw Solon. I flew all the way to England, watched Solon play. I've done that actually a couple times now. But my longest trip, I'll actually say, while I was in England, the last time I was there, I flew in and I spent some days in London. And my plan was to spend a couple days in London and then go up to the northeast to see Solon play. The day we were leaving London, though, they changed the match time for the game. So instead of 3 p.m., they moved it to 12 p.m. So I had to get up like 4 or 5 in the morning, take a train at King's Cross. Fun fact, where my train took off is where they filmed the part of Harry Potter. Very cool. So we go on the train. I took the train up, and that was only about 4, maybe 3.5 hour train ride. But when you count getting up in the morning, getting an Uber in London is not easy. Getting to the King's Cross, waiting for the train, getting on the train, getting to Durham, getting a ride from Durham to the Stadium of Light. I don't know if it's my furthest, but it's definitely one of the longest ones I've done.
It sounds more tedious than long. I'm not gonna lie to you. It sounds just tedious as fuck.
Many steps. All right, Jessica.
This is sad, but football related, the farthest I've traveled is Hamilton. But
Okay.
not football related. When I was younger, I went to Manitoba, and my dad drove from Sudbury to Manitoba.
Wow.
Manitoba.
Crazy.
Junior hockey or
No, Ukrainian
NFL.
festival.
Oh, nice.
good food. That's all.
Oh,
Yep.
flip a coin. Stuart.
All right, first of all, I heard Michael mention Harry Potter there, so I'm just going to whip out my Harry Potter tattoo. Love Harry Potter.
I got one.
Kurt Larson whipped out his the U.S. Soccer tattoo, so I figured I'd match that with something a little bit cooler, a little bit more nerdier. The furthest I've traveled So again, it's a bit of a subjective question. For an away match, I went to Vancouver, which I just Googled earlier, and it's 4,300 kilometers. But as a teenager, I washed dishes in a pub specifically to save up money every single year to fly from Toronto to Glasgow to come and see Glasgow Rangers at Ibrox. So that would be my longest, and I've done that about 6 or 7 times, including when they were in the lower division. I flew over to see them play in Division 3, which was something else that was different from what I was normally used to, but it was a lot of fun, and it's well worth the distance traveled. And actually, I've gone to Florida as well. I'm not sure if Fort Lauderdale is further. I doubt it, though.
Still a good distance.
All right, Stefan.
It's a cheat. So Canada versus Jamaica in Jamaica. 97 while I lived there. That's technically the furthest road game I've been on if you're going away fans.
But you did see Canada away.
Yeah, but realistically it would be New York.
Okay.
So
Alrighty. Okay, Steph, I'll get you to batter up on this one. Any upcoming road trips that you're excited for?
well, we were supposed to be in Hamilton today getting wrecked and fucking yelling obscenities at Barton and Hamilton and making fun of everything, but you know, that stupid bat, man, no one likes that bat that exists. That started all this stuff. I blame the bat on this one. But that would be the trip I would be looking forward to, and still am, the group's first road trip in the CAMPL.
Cool. Michael.
Yeah, 100% agree. Either York 9 or Forge. Just to build that Ontario rivalry that we all have. And the more times the fans go down for those games, the bigger it will grow. And that's what I'm excited for about this league, is we could do a road game, and this could be an annual thing. Anytime we're in the road in that area, you know a good chunk of us will be there, and I can't wait to see that grow.
Okay, Stuart.
So I wouldn't have been at today's road game because I'm still in Scotland, but the one that I'm probably most excited for out of all the Canadian Premier League teams is I would love to go see Halifax play. I've never been to the East Coast, but obviously the culture there is very similar to what I grew up with in a very Scottish family, very similar music, food, drinking culture. So I think that's what I'd like to do. I'd like to go down, spend a weekend in Nova Scotia, go see a game, go beat HFX Wanderers, and then come back home.
Cool. Jessica?
I have to agree with Stuart. Halifax, we actually have a friend that lives in Halifax, so it would be nice to go spend some time with Jen and
Totally forgot she lived out there.
And then to go to a Halifax Wanderers game.
Cool. All right. Stuart, you can start this one. Describe your dream road trip.
My dream road trip, that actually might be Halifax, to be honest, right now. Apart from that, I'd love, and this isn't even Canadian Premier League or Bytown Boys related, I'd love to go follow Rangers somewhere away in Europe. That would be probably my dream, is to go see them play, in Porto or Vienna or one of these cities that they've been playing in recent years. But if it's Canadian, I think my ideal away trip would be supporting Canada and the Voyageurs in America.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Steph.
Yeah, when we're talking things like that, yeah, CAMPL is nice, Halifax is nice, but if I'm going to spend a good chunk of money on travel, I'm going to make sure that game, it stands out. That's like a rivalry sort of thing. So I'm with Stuart on this one, almost, but I'd love to go to what we still remember as the Hex. I'd love to go for a Canada away in the Hex. Like, I've heard stories of Canada versus Mexico where their Canada fans are brought to the stadium in a riot bus. They're caged up in their own section. Like, if you're gonna go hardcore away fans, go. Let's go hardcore. Let's pretend we're the scum of the earth. So mine would be more Canada away, but more in Central America.
All right. Jessica?
Because I've seen Canada twice and I've gone to the Toronto area twice to see them, I actually have to agree with Stuart and say I would love to go to Canada and US in the States. The last time they played and it was in the States for the final, I had to work, so I could not go, but I do know a few people that had gone down, so I would love to do that.
Michael?
I definitely agree with Canada and the States in America. Would be a great road trip to do. But like Stu said with the Rangers, I would love to see Sunderland play away against Newcastle in a time where derby. I've been saying it for the last couple of years now. As soon as those two have a game coming up, I don't care if I'm living on the streets. I'm flying to England to get to that match. I've almost bought tickets when we went down, when Sunderland were in Wembley last year. We went twice last year. And both times I was very close to buying tickets, and I ended up not doing it. I ended up regretting it. But I'd love to see a Time Warner Derby for sure. I've heard it's absolutely mental. It's one of the best rivalries in England. And just hearing, like, my cousins have obviously been, and they've told me so many stories. I'm like, yeah, it's not even a question. As soon as this game lines up somewhere, I'm flying over. But for Canada, of course, it has to be a Canada game in the States.
All righty. Wait, Steph, did you answer?
Yes.
Okay,
CONCACAF.
making sure. Just making sure. All right. Okay, Jess, you can start.
Okay.
So should the CPL try and offer deals for any road game, or what kinds of deals would you like the CPL to offer?
I don't know. That's a tough question. I have no idea. I mean, we went ahead and started planning the road trip back in February for this weekend.
Yeah.
And that's the unfortunate bit, is that we took the head of it.
Yes, we did. I don't know.
That's okay. All right, Stuart.
So I don't think that there's necessarily a responsibility for the CPL to do that. I don't think it's really expected, but I think they should. That's a fair answer. Now, what they should offer is, ideally, in a perfect world, they would have a sponsor with, WestJet, Air Canada, Via Rail, someone that can offer deals to supporters traveling or with the hotel. But I think at a minimum, what I'd like to see the league do is make sure that all clubs are prepared for away fans and that are working with clubs. When the schedule comes out, I think York 9 should be looking at the schedule and say, okay, Hamilton fans are going to be visiting here. This is where they're going to sit. This is how many tickets we've got for them. Have that planned out ahead of time. And just make sure that when supporters groups like us want to call the club or the away club that we're going to and say, hey, we want some tickets, they're already set, ready to go help us out. They can refer, whether it's bus systems, flights, whatever. I don't expect them to pay for it, but maybe help us facilitate finding those, the best prices. But I think at their minimum, they could just be ready to say, we want away fans, and we're going to do everything to make sure that each club is ready to receive away fans when they come to town.
Right. Stefan?
Well, it's kind of building on Stuart's point. Like, when I was planning our Hamilton road trip, because Ottawa had no bodies in the office, Stefan does his normal thing. I don't give a shit who's involved. I'm getting this done. So I contacted Mark in Barton Street. He gave me his ticket rec contact. He's like, okay, this is where we're going to put you. This is our section. I said, great. What are the rules on away fans with flags, drums, banners? Like the basic essentials that kind of should be available. But I wrote in a blog once that this CAMPL should get in bed with a hotel chain and rental agent companies or Greyhound, Via Rail, as Stuart was saying. More or less, you'll get like a 10, 20% discount if you show your game day ticket.
Right.
I'm going to this game. All right, between this date and this date, we'll give you a discount rate. Before you get to the game and leave the game, stay at the hotel, leave the hotel, etc., etc. So they can come up with something. They don't have to be responsible, but they could use it as part of the advertising. So it's also not the league itself, but also companies looking at going, we can maybe not make extra money, but build, get that market share. So argument's sake, if everybody always uses Enterprise to rent cars, but Hertz makes a deal with the CAMPL, if we get a cheaper rate on a car, are we going to go with Enterprise or Hertz?
Right.
Most people will take the Hertz just because I got a deal going. And then even when it's not a CAMPL game, I got to rent a car. Well, Hertz is good to me. I'm going to use Hertz anyways. So it's not more or less the league. The league needs to get the ball rolling, but companies need to take advantage of trying to get the market share.
Well, Michael?
So I actually disagree with Steph and Stu. They both said it's not really the CPL's responsibility to do it. I do disagree. I think it's 100% their responsibility to encourage road trips and to encourage and to do something to get us to go. When you look at this question, I'm not just thinking about road trips to Forge or York. I'm thinking, hey, if I want to go out to Pacific and see a game, I want to pay cheaper because I'm coming as a fan. And I think the CPL should support people like us going to that far of a distance. Either it's, like you guys said, hook up with Greyhound, hotels, WestJet, whatever it is. That'd be a great thing to bring into the league. And I do think they should really encourage us and maybe even throw in an award system. Say you traveled this many miles, you get this much % off or something like that. Canada's group, for Canada's soccer, our name are the Voyagers. That means we travel. We want to see our teams play. We need away fans in this league for it to build the way we want it to. I think the CPL should get on that back 100%.
All right. So we're down to the last two. All right, Michael, would you rather watch a home game or do a roadie?
I think this is the hardest question on the list today. Nothing beats a good roadie, especially if you're winning. But nothing beats getting home into your nice warm bed as well at the end of a loss. The reason why road trips are so special is because they're far from few. So as much as I love a road trip, and it's very rare I've turned one down. Ever since that Montreal game, I think I've missed one game in the Ontario-Montreal region when it comes to Canada games. I think I've missed one. So I'm always going on those road trips. But I think I would prefer
Cuba.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. I think I'd prefer a home game because the further apart the away games are, the more special they are.
Okay. Stuart.
Roadie sounds so dirty. That's what we used to call taking a poop in someone else's bathroom. But for me, I think I'd rather do a road trip because you get like 20 home games a season or 15, whatever it is. But road trips are few and far between. I think Jessica hit on it earlier when she talked about being stuck in a car with me for the first time. That's when you really get to know people. That's when you get to, like, you can meet people at the pub and you can have a drink before the game and go, but it's not the same when you're trapped in the car and you have to like them. That's how Jessica But I think that's one of the big things is you really get to know each other going to and from the game. It's always fun to be the away fan. Just like I remember I went down, it wasn't with you guys, it was actually with Stony Monday where I went down to Rochester to go see a match. And I traveled with them and it was just fun because I remember we were, yelling obscenities at the players, and the security came over and was like, if you guys don't shut up, you're going to be kicked out of the stadium. And it was just, oh, we're in America. Instantly it was, where's our freedom of speech? Are you going to hinder our rights? Wow, Trump was already in power for 6 months and this is happening. Like, it was fun to take the piss out of them and to make those jokes, to be on the road and kind of poke the bear a little bit. I like doing that. It's a lot of fun. I think I'd pick a roadie over a home match.
Jessica.
I'm the same. I would choose a road trip. There are plenty of home games. Road trips, yes, you're stuck in a car, but there's always conversations and there's always inside jokes that happen on the road trips that make everybody laugh. And even after the road trip, we're still bringing up some of our inside jokes that most people probably don't understand, but we all find it hilarious. Yeah, so I prefer to go on road trips.
Cool. And Stefan.
Well, Michael brought up good points saying, yeah, after a loss, but overall, I'd still take the roadie because there's a lot of planning involved for the roadie. You're looking at your work schedule. What time can I take off? The people you're going with. And as Jess said, you got to learn to get along with them. Or was it Stu? Either or. One of you two said it. You're right on it, though, overall. You learn to deal with people. Road trips is the best way to learn how to get along with somebody. If you can't, well, guess what? Somebody's dying. Someone's going to look good in orange, apparently. So I'm roadie over home game just because it's more entertaining and you tend to learn about each other more.
All right. Last question, Stuart. You ready?
Yeah.
So how would you recommend to people to get involved on road trips, or how would you engage them?
So I think the number one thing is you should be a member or at least be in touch with the supporters group for the team with which you want to go see play away. So if you want to see Canada play away, be on the Voyageurs Facebook group, get to know Jamie, be on Twitter where they are. If you're with the Ottawa Fury, join us. Bytown Boys, we organize the trips. We're the ones who will give you all the info you need. Like I said, my first road trip, I didn't do with a group. It was just my friend and I, and we did it just for fun. And seeing the supporter section is what actually drew us in. So I think if anyone wants to get involved or looking that, an away trip is something that they want to do, I think first and foremost, get to know the supporters groups, because those are the ones who are traveling. You can go to a away match, there might be fans scattered about, but the ones who are all sitting together, making noise, the passionate ones, those are always the supporters groups at away games. Whether they're allegedly letting off explosives or setting off flares or having fun time, singing chants that maybe you shouldn't be singing, those are always the supporters groups, and they're the ones who are having the most fun out of everyone in the stadium. So anyone who wants to get involved with an away game, and I'm going to put a plug here, if it's for Atletico Ottawa, join us, join Bytown Boys. We're going to be organizing trips. That is hands down, in my opinion, the best way to get involved.
Jessica.
I guess I would have to go with Stu, get involved. If you follow our groups, they're a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what else.
No, well,
Or go tweet.
it's you can't describe the experience really, right? We
Nope.
try and drag people out. I know Stefan is really good at face-to-face selling, basically.
Yeah.
So your ticket's already copped, so just all you need to do is show up.
Yeah.
Pay me a pint or something like that. So just to check it out. You know what I mean?
That's how he got me to join.
Exactly. So Steph.
Stu's right on that part, but in the end, like if you want to go on a road trip, you'll find a way. You'll go to the team and say, hey, you're playing away. I want to go. Is there a road trip being planned? If the team itself's not planning a road trip, they'll point you in direction. No, but if you go talk to them over there or them over there, they're the most likely to be organizing one. Or they'll be like, oh, yeah, these guys are doing it. So if you want to go on a road trip, the first step is take the first step. Just ask. You don't ask, you'll never know. Trying to get people to go on road trips is more or less when you're hanging out with everybody and you're talking about your football stories. You bring up the 4 guys in the Fiat or fucking bags or a Jamaican in the Voyageur section with the drum right beside him. And things like that. You got to talk about all the good, even the stupid stuff that happened. So our cheapest parking was a parking ticket. Things like that. That's the best way you can get people involved, in my opinion, is just let them know what fun you've had. Let them think, oh, you know what? This might be worth my time. I should try it out. Worst case scenario, they don't like it, and they don't do it again.
And Michael.
Yeah, obviously the other ones are right. Just get involved with the groups. But even if you don't want to be part of the groups, like you're not up for the whole singing and chanting and standing in big crowds, and you support them, just go out there, go on the road, make the drive, go to a pub, go meet people. You may meet your future wife. You may meet best friends for life, really. It's a great experience. And if you're really interested in road trips, literally just go out there. You'll find most of us are pretty welcoming. Of course, you find people you don't like stuff. But at the end of the day, it's a great experience. And it's something I never regret doing, even though my pocket may hurt at the end of it. I never regret going out there and having a hell of a time doing it.
Cool. Well, thank you guys. That was all 11 questions. Thank you for submitting them, and thank you for participating, and Stu, especially from all the way in Scotland. Let's see. We have potential guests coming. I don't want to confirm anything, or I shouldn't be confirming anything, but we have been working behind the scenes to find people to jump on the panel. Let's see. We got our Facebook group, Facebook page, Twitter. Also, side plug Michael's channel, Michael McCall, with his pint and pub talks. Anything else I'm missing?
Last night, I attempted a trivia podcast on our Facebook page. Apparently, the audio wasn't working too well. So, growing pains, learning, but a lot of people were messaging me after saying they had fun. So what I might do is get on YouTube and just do basic trivia live and use the super chat and just see what people have to say. Like, what's the worst going to happen? Nobody likes it. Great. But people seem to enjoy it. So if people are having fun in this situation, let's encourage it. Let's encourage good, stupid fun. So this is something I'm looking into. I'll let everybody know what's going on going forward. But the trivia contest, so far we've raised $200 for Meals on Wheels Ottawa.
Yay!
So we're not going to close donations till Sunday night. We're going to try and get as much in as possible before Monday, and then we'll send it off. So hopefully people can reach in a bit and see what they can donate. If they can't, don't worry, but if you can, help out. And this time when everybody's shut in, even the shut-ins get the worst of it, because now the people that would deliver meals to them and their groceries aren't available. So.
And I just want to add the 3 important S's. First one, stay home, save lives, and support local. And when soccer's back, support local soccer. But those are the 3 things right now. I would just say to everyone, just stay home, save lives, and support your local pubs, your local everything. Our local pub, the Senate, not only is delivering food, they're delivering groceries. They're trying to help people out. support your charities, your local charities. Like we're supporting Meals on Wheels, helping people out. So just those 3 S's: stay at home, save lives, and support local.
Michael, any final words?
No, I think you guys all hit it.
No, Jessica,
Nope.
you're good.
Yep.
Okay, so episode 3, road trips concluding. Thank you all for participating. Next week will be episode 4. We'll keep you all posted. Follow us on the socials. You know, keep your ear to the ground. I'll try and get a earlier jump start to getting more people sending me questions, you know, to get the group involved. Because I don't want to make people feel like it's an exclusive club, you know what I mean? So I want to get everybody involved. Anyway, thank you. This is Anton signing out. Thank you.